marriage life is awesome. I believe it's like the best thing ever.
Honestly, a little easier than I thought.
I think it hasn't been that different. Like, I think we have always been our true selves on camera and not off camera. There's nobody else to make jokes with because we're
we're just making jokes on each other, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have any regrets with the way I handled anything. I got my happy ending.
For me, I have to say, if I have done things differently, maybe I have not ended up where I'm at today.
3 years, one televised wedding, and now a complete silence, broken only by one woman's decision to finally speak out. Lydia Velez Gonzalez, best known as the bold and vibrant fan favorite from Love is Blind Season 5, is officially divorcing her husband, Milton Johnson. And while viewers once celebrated them as the last couple standing, what's come to light recently suggests the reality behind their relationship was far from a fairy tale. In a raw and emotional interview, Lydia is finally opening up. She says she's done being quiet, and what she revealed, it's left fans stunned and asking one question: what really happened behind closed doors? Before we dive into how things started unraveling, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're into deep dives like this. We break down the biggest stories in entertainment without the fluff, just facts, receipts, and a bit of chaos.
They made it to the altar, although I wasn't sure that Milton was gonna say yes.
Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect her, forsaking all others?
If the man that I'm about to marry paused for that long, the wedding's off. I would have walked out.
And holding only onto her.
He took the longest pause in history at the...
No, this is the shock of the century that Does Milton know he said yes?
I do. I thought you were gonna say more words.
Let's rewind. In a season where nearly every couple collapsed before making it to the altar, Lydia and Milton were the unlikely duo who said, "I do." Viewers watched them defy expectations. A bubbly Puerto Rican geologist in her 30s and a calm, analytical engineer just 24 at the time. Their love story stood out. Lydia called it a fairy tale. "He showed me the kind of love I've never received before," she told the podcast, "What's the Reality? He loved me for who I was." At the time, it seemed like the show had finally done what it promised, match people based on something deeper than looks. But now, nearly 3 years later, the illusion has shattered.
He worked an overnight shift.
Oh, you don't believe him?
No.
Maybe he was just sleepy, because he did say that he had worked a late shift.
He was out there wheeling and dealing, living his last night as a single boy.
He was out there doing 24-year-old things.
With his singles and his playboys.
You know, I wasn't really sold on their love story. I did love Milton's father and the great advice he gave.
Just make sure that you're still communicating, you're not taking each other for granted. That's what I'm saying. You got to learn how to fight fair.
On June 11th, Lydia finally stepped forward, not through a clickbait headline or a TikTok rant, but during a candid podcast conversation that took a serious turn fast. "I'm ready to speak my truth," she began. "This is not to bash anybody, but I wanted to share with the world." Her voice was steady, but the pain behind it was unmistakable. She explained that silence had become unbearable, that she'd endured too much, that the image of their marriage was nothing like the reality. Then came the shock. She's filed for divorce, not after a major fight, not after a scandal, but after what she described as a layer of situations that kept piling up, unnoticed by the public but impossible to ignore at home.
Today I have one of my favorite people and an incredible guest from Love is Blind Season 5. Lydia is here. Hello.
Hi.
So you reached out to us because you wanted a safe space to kind of share your news and your updates.
Yeah, of course. I consider part of the Love is Blind family, and I was like, what a better safe space than this.
Yeah, so can you catch me up on like what you've been up to since Love is Blind?
Well, life since Love is Blind has been tumultuous. Since season 5, there's been a lot of grief, heartbreaks, a lot of growth. But I'm here, and I'm so proud of my strength and what it keeps proving to be my resilience. I feel like now is the time to actually like speak my truth.
Yeah.
And I have decided that I filed divorce against Milton.
When Lydia told Milton she was filing, she expected questions, maybe even resistance. What she didn't expect was a demand. "I'm not going to sign the papers unless there's an NDA." An NDA for a divorce? To Lydia, that said it all. That was enough for me to know I needed to share my truth, she said. She hadn't just been unhappy, she'd been silenced. And now someone was trying to legally lock her silence in place. Instead, she chose to speak.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Nobody ever wants to hear that.
It wasn't one thing.
Yeah.
It was a layer of situations and things that just kept piling up. When I asked him or told him, hey, I'll let you know when the divorce papers are ready, his response was, I'm not going to sign the papers unless there's an NDA. And that said enough, because what I've been suffering in silence has been too much.
What followed was a steady unraveling of details that had never made it onto the show. Lydia described a shift in Milton's behavior after the camera stopped rolling. He would never compliment me, she said. He should be like, that's my woman, and nothing. She claimed even her posts on social media, the kind of light support you'd expect from a partner, went ignored. It's a lot, she admitted, and when people around you notice, it just kept showing up. Publicly, they were still the couple who made it. Privately, Lydia says she was feeling invisible.
Because at first he presented as like, well, I want people to see you more as than want your body. So I stopped posting pictures in swimsuits. Well, the exchange was that he was going to stop liking women's pictures and...
Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, I don't see the post. Put the notifications on.
I don't see the post is insane.
I'm like, how is that possible? The first
You
person
see
that
everybody except your wife.
Exactly. Make it
The
make
algorithm
sense.
don't work like
No,
that.
Not a compliment. He would never compliment me.
I'm not gonna lie, I did peep that. That he should be in there drooling. He should be first comment.
He should be like, that's my woman.
wife.
That's
yeah.
my wife.
Yeah.
y'all.
In September of 2024, Lydia was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, a chronic illness that can cause widespread pain, exhaustion, and emotional distress. It was a pivotal moment, one that required empathy, patience, and care. Milton's alleged response: you're not dying, you just have to eat healthy and work out. No sympathy, no support, just what Lydia called emotional abandonment. By October, she says the burnout had become too much. She needed medical leave from work. She needed space. She needed rest. But Milton reportedly shot her down immediately. F no. The message was clear. Her health came second. Their finances, or his expectations, came first.
Well, maybe I can hold into like him being there, right? But it just kept showing up. I got my diagnosis.
Yeah.
On September 16, 2024.
2024, okay.
And it kind of felt a relief, but at the same time, a life sentence. To say that fibromyalgia has ruined my life doesn't even come near to it. And instead of him being my support, he told me, you're not dying. You just have to eat healthy and work out. I first tried to like talk to him and request a medical leave back in October last year. He was like, fuck no.
Despite the tension, Lydia says she wasn't abandoning responsibility. She continued working as a content creator and influencer even while navigating her diagnosis. But things only got more unbalanced. At that time, he was not even paying my bills, she said. I told him, I'm not going to be splurging, but income is coming. We're going to be okay. Still, she claims Milton was fixated on the loss of her full-time paycheck and unwilling to support her healing, emotionally or financially. She wasn't just carrying a chronic illness, she was carrying their entire emotional load. By March 31st, it was over, not with a final argument or emotional goodbye, but with silence. Lydia says since the day she asked for divorce, Milton hasn't spoken to her. No closure, no explanation, just the kind of radio silence that says more than any statement could. He told me I was stupid and untrustworthy, she recalled. If you truly love someone, you don't give them the silent treatment for a month. And just like that, the couple fans thought had it all. They had nothing left, not even a friendship. Today, Lydia and Milton are no longer in contact. The marriage is over, the divorce is in progress, and the NDA, the one that sparked it all, has become symbolic of everything Lydia says she endured behind the scenes. Milton, for his part, has remained silent. No statement, no response, no denial. And for a man who built his reputation on being calm, logical, and emotionally stable, his silence is louder than words. Was it real love? Or was it reality TV magic? Carefully edited to sell us a fantasy? Lydia's story is raw, vulnerable, and filled with the kind of detail most reality stars keep hidden. But it's also a warning that sometimes what we see in 10 episodes barely scratches the surface of what's happening in someone's life. Because behind the wedding gowns and Netflix deals are real people, living real lives, and sometimes suffering in silence. And in Lydia's words, that silence has been too much for me. If you thought you knew everything about Love is Blind's only surviving couple, think again.